Happy Friday, everyone. Gio here from Fandom United, back to talk to you about John Wick Chapter 4. This is a spoiler discussion. I'll do non spoilers for probably the first 2 minutes and just give you my reactions. And let me say this about Chapter 4. I know there was a concern about the 2 hour and 49-minute runtime. I myself was like, that's a long time for a movie of this type, very much a shoot 'em up movie. I will say though, as the movies have gone on, the whole world of this franchise has gradually expanded, and that is the same for chapter 4. There is so much going on, so much lore, so much with the high table, so much with, every movie we get new characters, and they end up being characters that are very likable and ones that you want to just whether they work for John Wick or they're going out to kill John Wick. When you have great writing as far as characters go, whether it's a Common or a Donnie Yen, or the guy from Only the Strong, Iron Chef America, Mark Dacascos, I think. Um it 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 makes for a compelling time, a compelling story, that you're watching. And 2 hours and 49 minutes, I'm happy to say, didn't really feel it. Didn't really feel it at all. I mean, the pacing is so good. The action sequences, okay, like they continue to get more and more creative with the type of situations that John Wick finds himself. Okay, gunmen, swordsmen, uh, body armored, individuals, hitmen and whatnot. I mean, you literally, the trailer showed it, but you have these characters, they're firing at each other, sometimes point blank, and all they're doing is pulling up their their suit that's made to take that kind of damage. And it didn't really take me out of the movie. It worked on so many levels. The story was very much one where it's a do or die for John Wick, and the stakes get even higher and higher. We get to go around the world to these different places, follow the characters, get to see different kind of continental hotels, and it's a really damn good time. Dare I say, John Wick Chapter 4 is the best one. When is a fourth movie ever the best in a franchise or saga? Okay, maybe if you want to get technical, Star Wars A New Hope, but man, I had a really great time. I said this in my reaction for Apocalypse Movies, my main channel, that I haven't had this much fun at a movie theater since Top Gun Maverick. Now, I know Top Gun Maverick released last year, but that was like around this time last year, and a lot of movies have come out since. Keanu Reeves is as great as we've ever seen him. This is by far his best performance yet as the character. Donnie Yen, a person who I was a big fan of. I remember the first movie I saw him in was Blade 2, where he took on the Reapers. And, if you've seen Blade 2, you know what happens. It still hurts me to this day. But he is so great, having such a good time, and just able to show once again just how great of how incredible of a fighter he is, martial artist. And really, I mean, he is swagged out in this movie, man. Okay, he plays a blind assassin. He was kicking ass, and I loved the filmmakers for how they were able to work with a character who isn't able to see. They're able to give him some mannerisms or like some devices to help him. There's one sequence. This is a minor spoiler here. There's one sequence where he's attaching these things to the wall, and like every time somebody walks past, it's like a loud doorbell, bum bum, and it was just, man, the creativity. Donnie Yen is incredible. You have returning cast members Ian McShane. You have the late Lance Reddick, I believe his name was. Bill Skarsgård plays the new antagonist. He is pretty much given the power from the high table to do whatever is necessary to get rid of John Wick, because no assassin can seem to do so. And I really enjoyed his character overall, guys, because I really want to get into spoilers, I'm about to in a second. John Wick Chapter 4, incredible. A movie that, yes, is pushing close to 3 hours, but it was a damn good time and a movie that I will watch again. In fact, I have tickets for Sunday to go see it again, and I'm looking forward to it. Such a great time. Go watch it and have a blast. And let me know what you think of John Wick Chapter 4, because we're about to get into spoilers right now for the movie. And in three, two, one. So, like I mentioned in the non spoilers, Bill Skarsgård's character, the main antagonist, is given powers by the High Table to do whatever is necessary. He's given, call it emergency powers, like the Supreme Chancellor Palpatine in the Star Wars movies. He has every assassin at his disposal. He has complete control powers. And what does he do? He gets Donnie Yen, one of his good friends, to go after him, and uses his daughter as leverage to, if you don't do this, you are going to die and your daughter is going to die as well. And throughout the movie, you see characters like Donnie Yen or Hiroyuki Sanada, get placed in a difficult position because these are friends of John Wick and they are forced to do what's necessary. And I just really enjoyed that, layer of character depth, how they all know John Wick, they respect him, but they have to do what's necessary because the High Table is this dangerous, establishment of high power and authority and order. And man, the fight sequences. There is a big one in the first act where it's a continental in Japan, and it involves Hiroyuki Sanada's character, John Wick, Donnie Yen, and then all these suits for hire, and it was just incredible. The way the action is shot, it works so well, and the choreography of all the fights, it's just, man, it is mind blowing here. I was sad to see Hiroyuki Sanada's character die, but he went out like a boss, okay? And Donnie Yen, again, he's not a very straightforward villain. He doesn't want to hurt these people. I mean, he has to kill John Wick, but he doesn't want to. His fight with Hiroyuki Sanada as they were, dueling with swords, and obviously Hiroyuki was no match for Donnie Yen, and Donnie Yen took no pleasure in doing that. And the it leads the door open because Hiroyuki Sanada has a daughter who was a part of the fight. Donnie Yen allows her to live and says, when you're ready for revenge, I'll be waiting. And it was just, man, like it was so well done. It did not feel forced. Now, Lance Reddick, rest in peace. I loved seeing him in these movies. He surprisingly only has a small role because they kill his character off. I that was the one moment that took me out of the movie. It wasn't a bad thing. It was just given the recent events and his sudden passing. I was just like, oh man. And he has one line that stands out as he's dying. Like it was a pleasure, sir. And I'm just like, oh man, this is tough to watch, but it's so effective. Lance Reddick is such an amazing actor, an incredible talent. As somebody who works in the hotel industry, seeing him as a concierge and just his professionalism, his posture, I'm like, that is somebody who represents what the hotel industry, the hospitality industry should be. So rest in peace, Lance Reddick, man. What a way to go out. What an incredible performance through all four movies. Another one I want to talk about is Scott Adkins as Killa. I'm sure you've seen the photos of his character. He's kind of like a kingpin of sorts. He has these playing cards. They play a game of five card draw, and his character reminded me a lot of what could be with the Gambit character in Marvel. But that aside, Scott Adkins was incredible. I mean, you could hardly recognize him with all the prosthetics on, and you know, he can move. Big guy can move. Okay, he was giving John Wick some trouble. Okay, that one kick he did right into John Wick's chest. John Wick falls off a third floor. He takes a couple of hard falls, by the way. John Wick. There's a couple times I'm like, man, you should have died. But then again, here you are taking bullets, bullets being sprayed at you, and you barely getting hit or scratched. But Scott Adkins, I really enjoy that character. I mean, again, fun characters along the way who present different types of challenges for John Wick. Really well done. Clancy Brown also has a fun role in this movie. He plays kind of the representative of the high table, one who kind of watches Bill Skarsgård as he, throws everything at John Wick, making sure things are done the right way by the rules that the high end table has set up. And I thought it was a very fitting role. But once more, I want to talk about the action. Okay, like every sequence is elevated, and there's one sequence in particular where it's kind of a one shot. Okay, there's a couple of cuts after like these long takes, but what the camera does is instead of you watching, straight forward, it takes you up to an aerial view and you're just watching John Wick, kind of like in those classic video games, like, the original Grand Theft Autos, where, you're watching a character and John Wick is just spraying, going into each room and, just taking cover and then strategically going out and, firing. And man, it was just like insane just how amazing it was to watch. And there, you're just, thinking like, how the hell are they doing this? How are they? They're so masterful, so creative. So I talked about the creativity, whether it's, arming John Wick with different types of weapons, whether it's nunchucks or these guns where if you fire a bullet, it, puts the enemy in flames. And that was really well done, really awesome. The creativity is just, I mean, I could never come up with this stuff. This is only stuff that you see in a video game. And honestly, it feels like a video game from time to time. And honestly, guys, I sky's the limit for this franchise. I think they have one more John Wick that was announced. There's obviously the ballerina spinoff, which John Wick is going to make an appearance, which is a little bit, I'm curious to see how they do that because the way this movie ends, John Wick dies after his duel with Donnie Yen, which, by the way, that duel was fantastic. Okay, really well done. Because a part of me was wondering, like, man, is Donnie Yen gonna make it out of this or not? I I was pulling for him, and you know what? Donnie Yen makes it out for now. Okay, Hiroyuki Sanada's daughter is probably gonna kill him at some point, but he made it out alive. And Bill Skarsgård, just decided, hey, I can finish him off because the way the duel is with these two, if you've seen the movie, they fire at each other, they go closer, they fire, closer, fire, and then John Wick pretends to fire, gets taken down by Donnie Yen, and Bill Skarsgård says, "Okay, okay, I'll take over. I want to be the one to kill John Wick." Right? Remember, Ian McShane talked about, he'll be remembered for taking down John Wick, and he'll be revered to the highest level by future assassins and whatnot. Mm-mm. John Wick pulled a fast one and shot him right there. And it was a badass moment, man. I almost forgot to talk about one more character, the tracker. Okay, we see him throughout the movie, and I was like, I'm not really feeling this character. Not until the third act when he finally, got some redemption. Okay, John Wick does an incredible thing. He has a dog, so the tracker has a dog, and the dog is, ferocious, dangerous, and isn't afraid to get into the fight. We see the dog get into the fight a couple times, but there's a moment where the dog is about to die, and John Wick saves the dog, and it was a cheering moment in the auditorium. Everybody had a blast and was cheering and rooting because we're fans of this franchise, right? But the tracker guy ended up being a character I did enjoy. I was annoyed for about the first two acts because he kept putting his faith, his trust into Bill Skarsgård. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, this guy's going to live up to his deal. Okay. He took a knife to your hand and, you still trusted him. I mean, maybe you didn't have a choice. But by the end, he gets his redemption. That dog gets revenge on the one who tried to kill him, and I'm like, if this guy comes back for the fifth and final one, I'm game. Bring him back. Bring back everyone who survived. Okay. And yeah, as far as where they can go, the ballerina spinoff, okay, with Anya de Armas, John Wick is said to be making an appearance. There is a post-credit scene that ties into Donnie Yen and Hiroyuki Sanada's daughter. So we'll see where that goes. Is John Wick really dead? I doubt it. I just I have to see the body buried, okay, and then time pass and whatnot. But you know how these movies are, okay. No one's really dead, at least not John Wick. So we'll see what happens. But overall, I really enjoy the movie. I give it 2 thumbs up. I can't wait to watch it again. Go and see it. Have a blast. Have a great time, and let me know what you guys thought, man. That's Oh, I can't wait to watch it again. That's going to do it for me. Gio here from Fandom United. Thank you so much, guys. Until the next review, you guys take care. Have a great weekend.